straight into our first game here. Let's see what happens as we kick this off into matches. Oh, no game sound. Strong start to the week. Okay, hopefully that gets fixed nice and quickly here. So, as we have no game sounds, and that ain't on me. I mean, I'm just using the same speed as we've had so far. I'm sure it'll get fixed up in a few moments' time. Harstem raiding me. Harstem, how about you check your Discord messages? Literally the last person to reply to me about a tournament. If you guys could I mean, I'm on a stream delay. I'm sure he'll read his Discord after now he's finished his stream. Right, guys? Right? Right? I guess we'll find out. There's our game sound, by the way, so we are good to go. Game sound-wise, I told you guys it wouldn't be that bad. I told you it would be okay. I told you guys it would be alright. To get into game one of this best of 7. Kua and Ragnarok here. I honestly think this should be fun. I really do think this should be a good time for all. We got like ambient sounds on because I can hear some weird sounds I don't usually hear. I'm gonna assume that's like the ambient sounds of the map. As we get this going, there's a barracks coming down there as well. It's just a little bit of setup, of course, as we get things underway here in the World Team League. It's so good to be back, my friends. As always, it's good to be here and excited to cast some games for you all. I love the World Team League, obviously, and we always have a good time with it. So hopefully you guys are hyped to have a good time with me today. Yeah, and obviously going to be live all week this week as well with World Team League stuff. The only day, so I am going to be missing Saturday. I'm going to be doing I'm going to have some me time on Saturday through the day, so I will not be here on Saturday's matches, but I might find a chance to catch up or so. Again, I'll keep you guys up to date, but for now, this TvZ starts off, and Pride of Altaris, big map, gold base with a full set of minerals in the center, not just like, you know, half, like 6 patches, it's 8 patches. The longest rush distance we've seen on the ladder in a long time. And yeah, I mean, Kua decides to just play 3 racks, which I'm interested in. Kua, let's see what we got. Let's see where this takes us. Let's see what happens, because I gotta say, definitely a little interesting, definitely a little bit unique in my eyes in terms of ways in which we open. So let's see what he does with this. Let's see if it can be something that can really come into effect and come into play. Even though the map is huge, I mean, these early bio units are going to have a rough time walking across this map right now. So very interested as to what comes out of this. Now, thank you so much as well. A couple shout-outs just quickly as we get going today. Hamper01 started the day with the Prime sub as well in the 46 months. Says this should be a fun one. Hell yeah, I totally agree. I think today's games are great. And also Cat Vertino coming in with the 2-month resub as well, saying, sending my last dollars to finance Jonathan's 3rd mansion. Thank you so much. Works have started. Now, unfortunately, we just can't find a plot of land big enough for what we want to build. So, yeah, I appreciate the support. The mansion should be ready sometime in the next couple of years, and we'll do I'll give you guys like a house tour, I suppose, when we get there. Thank you for funding the Wardy Mansion, guys. You know, I might even have a StarCraft tournament there sometime. We'll see, you know, we'll see. As we kick this off, Ben Reality, thank you so much for the sub. As we do, just kick this off, we wait for stimming combat shields. Really interested as to what happens when Kua does get across the map here. Like, what goes down then? Like, is Ragnarok going to be ready? Is he just expecting a nice long game? He is scouting in right now. Marines are going to zone him out. He actually went Overlord speed, which is a really good way to make sure you know what's going on. So, obviously, being able to see this many Marines, you're somewhat aware of what's going on a little bit. Obviously, you still need to make a bit of a distinction between a 2 racks and a 3 racks, right? So, like if it's a 2-1-1 versus a 3 racks, and that requires different responses, and that Balin Nest is coming down nicely timed, I think. So, looks as though we are on the right track here from Ragnarok. He seems to know what Kira is doing, and let's see how this goes. Since this Overlord scouts in the game, just double checking, really picking up all of the confirmation you could want. Does cost him the Overlord, but the scout is absolutely worthwhile. We're going to be seeing that last still coming through. A couple of Lings for Overlords all building. Marines are going to stream down through to the bottom side of the map, and just going to be seeing that +1 attack upgrade on the engineering base. So that's coming through as well, as our Marines get over to the other side here. And Ling Bane still coming up. That Queen is in production. We're just getting this set to roll over the next few moments now, seeing what exactly is going to happen as our Marines run up this ramp. A Crypt Tumor will be going down. I'm just going to see our Marines swimming back here as our Bane's trying to waddle forward. And this is just not good. I mean, this is just perfect preparation here. Oh, that's very loud. Sorry, I'll turn that down a little bit. Perfect preparation here out of Ragnarok to deal with this. Sorry, that was really loud in my ears. Maybe it was okay for you guys, but I can't cast it like that because it gave me a shock. So yeah, perfect preparation from Ragnarok, and now, okay, you can't exactly bust through here right away, but he is just going to start the spy. I mean, massive map, perfect map for getting some Mutalisks rolling on, so just going to get all of that set up, and that's where this game is headed at the moment. Chamber finishing up as well, so just getting that going, and yeah, I mean, again, so far so good. I like it, you know, I mean, Kyo gets shut down a little bit, has to play from behind. I feel like that's actually kind of fun because I kind of favor Kyo in this match, so seeing our favorite maybe have to play, you know, have a build that doesn't work so well and stuff like that, I think that's pretty neat. I'm a fan. See that Carapace upgrade coming through as the Dropper Lord is coming in as well right now from Ragnarok, so just getting that up and running, so a little bit more way, another way for him to apply some pressure. We'll see how the first drops of Kyo does here. Over the other side of the map, and for the next few moments in general, we're keeping an eye on that as our Dropper Lord loads up a group of Zerglings. They're being brought to, like I say, just hit that main base and just cause a little bit of chaos in amongst everything else going on the map, as Marines will fight here, Widowmines get burrowed up, and the Ling Bane kind of wanting to re-engage. The Queens transfuse each other, sharing the love and making sure nobody's going to fall down dead. Here come our Lings, though. I mean, this could be where you take a bunch of damage here as Cure, as we do see the first Widowmine shot going off. Oh, Baneling's connecting. A lot of the Marines going down. These SCVs are taking a ton of damage. 7, 8 workers go. I mean, this is all... Okay. Okay. Alright, calm down a second. 13 SCVs. Cure took forever to respond to this. Okay, this game is just completely backfired for him. Like, the initial build order didn't work out. Now you're getting absolutely ransacked by Zerglings. There is just nothing going your way. There is a time in which you kind of just pack up and give it up, I think. And we're definitely getting toward that at the moment because, well, I mean, just look at this. Cure is just already falling behind and behind. I mean, Mutas can come out now. We've obviously got the potential of taking a gold base as a follow-up. In fact, that's what's queued up right now as well. There is nothing good for Cure on this map at the moment. I mean, he's got slightly faster upgrades because his 1-1 is done versus just +1 Carapace, so that's okay, but yeah, we'll see what happens. That was the worst 2-1-1 I've ever seen. Well, I mean, yeah, I would beg to differ because it wasn't a 2-1-1. Wrong build, it was a 3-Rax. And that's very different because you have a lot more units, but obviously you don't have the Medivacs. The thing is, because Ragnarok went Overlord speed, he knew exactly what it was, so his preparation was perfect. With a 2-1-1, you always have the potential to say, oh, you know what's coming, I can lift up, get away, apply pressure after, but with the 3-Rax, it's so much more committed. And on a map this size, I'm genuinely surprised that we go 3-Rax, because it just feels like then it's like, well, you're never going to get those units back home if the Zerg is somewhat prepared, so then you lose all that, and then you're just playing from behind. It's a little bit tough for sure, as we do see our Marines trying to fight here and there. I mean, there's a Widowmine here that's going to go off for a good connection. Ling Bane fighting without detection is punished. Gotta be a little bit careful about that, right? Don't want to let that continue to happen multiple times over, otherwise you're going to be having a bad day overall. That's for sure. Marines trying to intercept the Mutas. I mean, Cure is doing a decent job of surviving, and a lot of the time when you're playing this kind of style as Ragnarok, the Terran will just aim to survive. You know, hope that you get overcommitted, attacking in. You stay on this composition that can't quite win you the game, but it keeps you alive in the game, and you just go again and again and again and again. And eventually maybe the Terran wins out because they slowly get up to a 4th base, you're just trading badly, and eventually the Terran can overrun. That's not fun. Let me go and switch over to the Twitch stream, guys. And just use this for our clean feed instead. As obviously, the YouTube keeps doing this. I don't know why. It must be something on their end which is just not quite going the way it should be, you know? I think maybe they're going to move up this ramp. So here is the maxed out Ragnarok we were kind of alluding to just a few moments ago. As our Banes don't really do great. Like, this is what I mean, right? I mean, yeah, okay, you're going to trade out here, but there is a world in which you make trades like this that are bad enough that Terran survives. This time I think it just doesn't matter. Banes roll into the orbital as kind of a statement from Ragnarok. He's like, look, you're dead, dude. Like, I'm throwing Banes onto an orbital. That's how rich I am. I've got a gold base behind this. This was even taken with, like, what, 2-1 versus 1-1 as well, so Ragnarok just doesn't even care about the upgrades. He just has so much right now, has no reason to slow any of this down. He's just going to keep it going, and honestly, I mean, I feel like we've been alluding to it, but Ragnarok is absolutely looking as though he's going to be taking the first game of the day here. Alpha X looking to get off to a hot start against the Dragon Phoenix Gaming that have definitely picked up 12-0 since their first week loss to Team GP. Big upset there. And it's an Alpha X team that needs to get a bit of life going in them as well, because they did lose. They have picked up wins against a Freak of Freaks, but then they've had 2 weeks in a row losing to Team NV in an ace match, then losing to Liquid without an ace match. And these are some teams that you need to. I mean, Liquid's the sort of team you need to be beaten to have a good middle of the kind of table setup, right? So. Same with the Freakiverse, they kind of get the job done sometimes. A win against Dragon Phoenix Gaming would be amazing for them. As that Ling Bermuda runs up here, I mean, again, you're just kind of streaming these units in. It's a little bit crazy. It's a bit like whatever. You know, whatever happens, happens, you know. In the end, it is just going to be enough to win this out pretty convincingly. Ragnarok taking the first game of this series without much problem. I feel like that's... Game number 2, as it is Blackburn. Okay, so I kind of thought we might get Blackburn, and here's why. I know maybe it would have been nicer to say this beforehand, but whatever, I'm going to say it anyway. So, I actually kind of thought we might see Blackburn, because I was kind of thinking the way that Kira played that last game, I was like, well, Kira, you know, A, he just won a GSL. He refused to play in Stay-at-Home Story Cup. So I was kind of wondering, hey, Kira, are you actually playing at the moment? Because last time he got second place in the GSL, he took some time off, and he took a little while to kind of rebound after that time off when he got second place at TY. I'm kind of wondering, you win GSL, maybe take some time off, team matches on something you can take time off from. Though maybe he could have requested, you know, to have Zest play today instead of himself. That's the one thing I'm thinking. So I'm just kind of wondering a little bit, like, was Kua thinking, or has he seen the new maps much? Like, how much has he seen these? How much has he played them? And I know Blackburn's a good Terra map, right? But Zerg in Korea actually kind of don't mind Blackburn. I feel like there's other maps you can choose that are nice for Terran in the new map pool. And I feel like Blackburn is kind of like the, hey, I know how this map works. I know how this map plays. I'm just going to play like that, you know? That's just what I'm going to play for at the moment. Should be fun. Thank you, WardiTV, for the 59-month resub on the Prime. As we just move along and get settled down, doesn't seem like we're going to be having anything too wild for the moment. Let's get ourselves up and running here for game number 2. Let's see what happens in this one. Ariba's about halfway done, and the command center is on. Like I say, if you just know how this map plays a little bit better, I think it absolutely makes sense to come onto this map and say, yeah, let's play this map now, you know? So, again, let's see how it continues through. As we have a spawning pool finishing, and 6 lings are on the way. A couple of queens is standard across the map. I wonder more so what Ragnarok's plan is for Blackburn than Q's. I think Q you can play a fairly standard game for the most part. Usually it's the Zerg that needs something a little bit more kind of like well thought out on this map, just because sometimes the Terran setups can get a little bit out of hand and so on. So that's what I'm thinking here in the early stages. As you do see a Reaper coming around, Ling's going to try and chase that Reaper down just a little bit, but not really able to do too much just yet as the Reaper continues being pushed around off over to that far side. Trying to get the creep team playing a dangerous game as it goes to low HP, of course, so in the end kind of gives up on all of that fun and games, and for now we will just continue on with the action. Lightning speed coming through. As we were just dropping a grenade down there as well, just again, just being active, right, Q with this Reaper. Really trying to keep an eye on things. Wing going forward and helping to push stuff back just a little bit. I mean, at least the third went down without too much delay, right? If that Reaper is keeping you from taking your third base, it's much more annoying. As Q has got his own third CC building up at the moment as well, so all of that's just coming through. Looking okay for now. And there is a Banshee even starting on the main base. Again, that Banshee up and running. And just a Reaper grenade towards the creep tumor and a couple of queens. Just going to be seeing the Marine fighting that Overlord a little bit. So Overlord taking some damage as we do have our circling speed going to be finishing up. And again, just wants to find out what's going on. And Kyo just says, I'm going to start Cloak on the Banshee. But to see start the Banshee, then much later on the Cloak. Let's see if he keeps the Cloak. He might. I mean, sometimes this is just how things time out with this build. You go 3CC, it's not like you have a ton of gas right away. So if you do want the Cloak, it just comes in a little out of sync, and it looks like that is exactly what happens here. Cloak is just going to come in a little bit out of sync, and we will still get two Banshees. They will be cloaked, and they will try and deal some harassing damage on the other side of the map in the very near future, as we do have the Reaper and a couple of cool Hellions getting rid of a creep tumor or so. And Ragnarok decides just to go for the faster lair, which against Cloak Banshee setup is typically quite nice because you have the Overseer sooner. You know, you're not trying to do anything too aggressive right away that the Banshees would just shut down. But generally, you're pretty content with this. Marines get through for an Overlord kill as well, just using that Banshee for high ground vision. And a third CC's in location as well. I mean, we've just got the Hellions moving out now. That does open the attack path for the Zerglings to come diving down the side and maybe jump on that base. That's something to perhaps worry about. Straight away here, a couple SCVs in some trouble. The Hellions are just so far out that they aren't able to respond to this. And that is just going to be a little bit of damage done. His other Lings coming back in and will be clearing up. Here come the Banshees for the first time. Moving across the map cloaked so as to not attract attention. Obviously would like to get across and be like a bit of a surprise factor. Be like, hey, we're over here, not in the main or so, right? Just making it difficult for the opponent to really know exactly what's going on. 6 drones. I mean, it definitely works out, right? So some good damage done initially. As we get up to the top right-hand side, we do have the hatchery taking some hits. It's actually really nice. You get 7 drones and you cancel the 4th base. Usually you take that 4th in the gold as well, but Ragnarok didn't. But, I mean, so now you're not even taking the better gold base. I mean, maybe you retake it as the gold. Because he's going to take it the top right. I mean, the top right has less issues. It has less, difficulty defending, but the gold just benefits you so much. That's usually worth all of the hassle that you go through to keep it alive and to keep your drones mining there. So I'm a little bit worried for Ragnarok that he's just sort of like saying, no, I don't even believe I can keep this gold going. Because to me, that's almost a sign of like saying, yeah, Kyo, you got me if if we play the gold base. He is going to play towards a Hydra Den here with the 1-1 melee upgrades coming through, so we are going to play more than just the Ling Bane. Ling Bane Hydra, nice sturdy comp, has been pretty popular again. It feels like it was out of fashion other than kind of the Ling Bane into, I say it like Hydras, but like it's really like into Lurkers. Like you play Ling Bane Lurker and you obviously go buy Hydras, but you don't really build a lot of them. In this case, you're going to build a good amount of Hydralisks, so it really is going to be kind of like I say, a Ling Bane Hydra as the setup. 5 more drones have gone down. The harass this game in general from Kira has just been good, right? It's just been substantial. It's been consistent. It's been convincing as well, honestly, across the board. So that's all very nice, as we do see some Banes busting through depots over here, and Marines moving through. We'll get rid of a couple of those Bane lanes. Ling Bane here, forcing a couple of split-ups. And units just splitting away as the Ling Bane comes on through, cleans on up. And now Marines unloading off down to the low ground, where they'll find themselves an Overlord to kill. Picking that off as they now move to the upper right corner. And they're going to go after a couple of Queens. And I mean, the damage from Q is just racking up massively. I mean, we are talking about, as he loses one Banshee to the Queen on the bottom side that just showed up. We're talking about a supply lead of about 25 here. 8 minutes into the game. That's never meant to be this far apart in supplies between a Terran and a Zerg. When it's Terran favored. And now Kyo's going to be pushing. Maybe Ragnarok just feels like after the early harassment stuff, that's why he didn't want the gold base, because it's like, well, it's going to be tough to keep it alive. And in this case, yes. But maybe you just have to take the gold base to try and get back into the game, which you're otherwise struggling a little bit, because you have that option, at least on this map, where other maps you wouldn't even be given the choice. Well, Kyo, a very slow push to the top, is just splitting apart and splitting away in general as well. There goes a couple more medevacs making their way across the map here. So away they will go. Again, just continue to drop, continue to harass, just working into this position. Just trying to get rid of as much as possible, take some good trades, and all the rest of it from there. As we do have ourselves a group of Marines still really kind of looking to compete over here. Now, a few Marines and a couple of Widow Mines are going to stem in on this side. Widow Mine's going to get burrowed up. Big connection on the first group of Zerglings, though. So already the Ling's taking a chunk of damage. That hurts. His supply just keeps getting further and further ahead. Absolutely looking as though we're likely going to send this to a 1-1 scoreline after our first 2 players today. There now is the Lurker Den and Infestation Pit, but of course, with the Infestation Pit going down now, it's going to be a while until you've got the Hive and hence the Lurker upgrade. So, yeah, it really is a while away from getting into a substantial amount of Lurkers that can really do well. As we pull back, we got the Marines do a little bit of damage there, let the Widow Mines burrow up again. Starting from the top right side, Widow Mines obviously well spread as well. I actually love the splits from Kyo's army. So if you see all those mines being clumped up and like a couple of them just get killed off by the same couple of Banelings and stuff, but there's just not even a moment of opportunity for that to happen here with Kyo. He has got those so well split. It really is not even a question mark that it could happen, which is definitely a nice little something as well. If you're a Kyo fan, and if you're just a Terran fan in general, it's fun to watch. Sometimes it pains me. I know it's difficult, don't get me wrong, but it's painful to see like 3 Widow Mines blowing up as they all burrow just to the same 3 Banelings that connect. It's like, no way. I was just gonna see that Bioforce continuing through the south side now. And as these Widow Mines get burrowed up, connections start coming through. Medevacs will evacuate a few units, and we're gonna unload a group of Marines to the top left. There's a few Zerglings getting taken down there pretty much immediately. Six Lurkers now building up still, it's just continuing to get that rolling. All of this coming through. Still just going to be seen. I mean, at least the Lurkers are here. Obviously, Kyo can start taking up into Ghost to help with that, but I mean, he's honestly created so much pressure up until now. It's nice that Ragnarok stayed alive to Lurkers. I mean, that's always going to be a turning point in a lot of the TvZs. Or at least a possible turning point. It's not guaranteed to change things, right? But has potential at least. So yeah, I mean, nice that he stays alive to this point. We maybe get a bit more of the game out of this than we could have initially expected. With those Lurkers burrowed, they are doing pretty well to keep things at bay. Is just going to see the adaptive talents coming through again, working on that. We're actually going to see Lib range as well with these ghosts. We're going to see a good amount of Liberators coming in to help out with this as well. So that's always good to see. I actually really like the Libs on these sort of armies and these sort of fights. I really think they can do they can go a long way towards helping out, you know. They can do a lot with that range, especially they can just siege up from so far away. There's not really a good consistent answer to it either. So yeah, without a good consistent answer, you definitely end up in a little bit more trouble as well. That's the Zerg. I mean, the best you can do sometimes is you just get Vipers up and you abduct a couple, and then obviously you just hope your Hydras get the job done for the rest of it, but yeah, it ain't easy, that's for sure. As you're going to see Bio still pushing through this top side. Is really just continue to put the pressure on and really trying to break through a little bit and really get in there for some heavy damage and maybe even game-ending damage. It feels like, you know, the game is stabilizing a bit with 200 supply each. But Q is still in the driver's seat. You know, Ragnarok's not slowed down any of Q's bases. You know, Q is, you know, being able to tech up as needed to deal with these lurkers. He's not being caught off guard by the tech switch or anything. I think all of that goes a very long way and is very meaningful here in the dying moments of this game. Perhaps not the dying moments, but in the continuing moments of this game. I'm being very pessimistic that this game's going to end soon. I think, you know, Q is set up well. He really does have everything he needs. There goes to Vipers. I mean, just talking about how you might need those, right? So that's a little bit painful. That actually really sucks a little bit. So that's going to hurt a lot. As we do have ourselves. Otherwise, just... yeah, just you gotta rebuild those Vipers. That's expensive. The Lib count's gonna start getting out of hand. We'll see when Kyo wants to attack next. Like I say, a lot of what he did early set him up for this. Now he just has to play it out properly and put the finishing touches on what has been otherwise a good game for himself. Things roll through for a few moments as we see the Liberators now making their push through this bottom side. That's kind of the position we've been talking about, right? Getting those Libs across the map, steeched up. It's going to be deadly. We always knew it was going to be deadly. And this is absolutely going to be the case here, as you see some Ghosts trying to line up some snipes as well. Ling Bane wanting to run forward, but again, how much can you really commit to something like that? Not enough, really. Not enough. Being still wants to move through. These Liberators are still staying sieged up. Also going to be seeing a couple of Libs going down to parasitic bombs. So again, the Vipers being the real savior versus the Liberators at the moment, if nothing else is. There's been even now nuking to push units back a little bit or to hold them in place. They're actually going to run forward here, but a mine shot's going to do alright. I mean, the Ghost will go down. This nuke will not land. I mean, Q is dropping in the main base, which means that Ragnarok's commitment down over here is going to be pretty rough, because now this main base is just under heavy fire. I mean, there goes the Spire, so +1 fly attacks. That might have come into play a bit further down the line. Hive's about to die, so that means no more Viper production. And I've alluded to why those, and we've even seen why those Vipers are so important, and hence why that is a big deal as well. So it is just everything going wrong right now, as we're going to be seeing another Queen taken down, 12 drones a day. I mean, it is just, this game's running away from Ragnarok, guys. I know he's got a bank, I know he's maxed, but again, has there ever been a moment where we've been feeling good for Ragnarok, where we've been feeling comfortable that he might be able to do something about all this? Because personally, I haven't had that in the slightest. I haven't had that at all. Massive counterattack. I mean, this might be one of the moments where you can see something happen. 21 SCVs, you break down a base. Of course, Q's bank is massive as well. But it's the right idea, right? If you're ever going to get into a winning position again here, it's pretty much got to come from something along the lines of that, you know? That's pretty much your only option, really, guys. It really is. Really, really is as we get ourselves this lurker finally dealt with. Took a little while to get there. Again, nukes flying up in the sky and trying to land. Aiming one at the third base, just trying to keep the the movement of those nukes questionable as well, so it's not easily predicted where things are going to get to, etc. and all of that goodness. Boom. That one actually really does land as well. Jeez. So Kyo landing some nukes, getting some damage done around the map as well. So we are going to be seeing massive push through the bottom side. You know, if Ragnarok wins this game, it would be off the back of one fight that goes very well very quickly. And it doesn't give Q a time to rebuild off the back of it, right? That would be absolutely the way you can win this. I mean, something like that is not impossible, especially like in a moment like this. And on a map where a lot of these fights are going to happen pretty close to the Terran's side of the map and the production. In this case, the Liberators are going to be saving Q no matter what. We land up, or line up a nuke, sorry, on the side of the gold base. So looking to land that and to hopefully get something done. Liberator's still trying to just siege on up. Nuke's just all over. Lands a loot nuke on the gold base. There's a nuke that's lined up on the top right. Ragnarok is so desperate trying to end this game on the other side. He is just not paying attention to nuke after nuke. He's killed 40 SCVs though, so I mean, maybe rightfully so is, being distracted and focusing elsewhere, because he is in fairness doing good damage across the map. Just, it feels like Kyo is eventually going to stabilize, and he is doing some damage himself with those nukes at least. That allows him to just make the kind of survival, past all of this, a possibility. I mean, if those nukes haven't landed and Ragnarok still has 70 drones, well, his rebuild's going to be that much better. Maybe then the damage he's done here is something that Q can't really recover from. So, yes, I mean, yes, Ragnarok, I can understand why, but it feels like in the position he was in, he had to do everything right, and he definitely took the fight right. He just had to defend right at the same time, and that was absolutely just not happening. Now down 30 supply again. We'll see how this turns out. It's going to be seeing our army pushing through again. If these libs get sieged, I mean, when these libs siege like this, what do? You've got Corruptor showing up to try and fight this? Well, let's see what they can do. As we drop EMPs, he's afraid of Vipers, I believe, but there wasn't actually a single Viper there. Unless it's just kind of mana EMPs, just like, I would actually just imagine that's him expecting there to be Vipers showing up, and he's just like, okay, surely right now your Vipers are coming in. If there's no Vipers, I win the game anyway. I don't really need the energy on the Ghost, so I may as well use it. GG's. Q takes the 1-1 in